She thought her friends truly cared when they suggested a blind date to help her find love. What she didn't know was that it was all a cruel joke. They wanted her to show up, be embarrassed, and return in tears. Nervously dressing up, she prayed this time might be different. With hope in her heart, she walked into the restaurant, unaware that her so-called friends were already there, hiding at another table with mocking smiles, waiting for the spectacle. But fate had something very different planned for her that night. The restaurant was elegant, far beyond any place she had ever dined. She almost turned back, afraid she didn't belong there. But then across the room she saw him, tall, composed, exuding quiet power. His eyes met hers and something inside her stilled. She expected a stranger fumbling with small talk, but instead, she found herself face to face with the city's most eligible CEO. He wasn't cold or arrogant as people whispered. He smiled warmly, pulling out a chair for her. Her heart skipped, and for the first time that night, she forgot about her friends' hidden laughter. Just as she began to settle into the unexpected comfort of the evening, a little girl appeared, clinging to his arm. "Daddy, is she the one?" the child asked innocently, making her cheeks burn. The CEO introduced his daughter, a bright-eyed angel with a mischievous grin. She never expected a man like him to be a single father. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. She wasn't just meeting a stranger. She was glimpsing a family. Her nervousness melted when the child giggled at her, instantly softening her heart. Little did she know, this girl would soon change her life forever. Across the restaurant, her so-called friends leaned in close, whispering and laughing. They thought it hilarious that she had been matched with a single father, assuming she'd run out humiliated. But instead of fleeing, she leaned forward, engaging with the man and his daughter. Their laughter slowly faded when they realized she wasn't crumbling under the pressure. Still, they snickered, snapping photos, eager to share them online. What they didn't see was the way the CEO's eyes softened when he looked at her. The cruel prank they had planned was already beginning to backfire. What was supposed to be a disaster turned into the most enchanting evening of her life. The CEO listened with genuine interest, asking about her dreams instead of mocking her insecurities. His daughter clung to her, laughing at every small joke she made. For the first time in years, she felt valued, not ridiculed. Her friends kept watching, hoping for drama. But all they saw was a woman glowing with confidence and a man charmed beyond measure. She began to wonder if this was destiny disguised as misfortune. Something told her this was only the beginning. Just when she thought the evening couldn't surprise her further, the CEO suddenly leaned forward. With a calm but powerful voice, he said, "Marry me." The restaurant went silent. Her friends nearly choked on their drinks, their laughter dying in their throats. She froze, unsure if this was real or some strange game. But his eyes were steady, filled with conviction, not mockery. The little girl beamed, clapping her tiny hands as if she had been waiting for this moment. What started as a cruel prank had just transformed into the most unexpected proposal of her life. Her heart raced, torn between disbelief and confusion. Why would a man like him, wealthy, powerful, desired by many, propose to her, a woman mocked by her own friends? Was this some twisted joke or pity? She hesitated, unable to answer. But his hand remained steady on hers, his gaze unwavering. "I don't play games," he assured her. Yet doubt crept in. Could she trust his words, or was she setting herself up for another heartbreak? She left that night with a question burning in her soul. Was this proposal genuine, or just a shield against humiliation? The following day, she encountered his daughter again. With innocent eyes, the child whispered, "Daddy told me you might be my new mommy. Is it true?" Tears stung her eyes as the girl hugged her tightly. Speaking of bedtime stories, hugs and warmth she longed for. The little one had been wishing for a mother figure, and suddenly everything clicked. Perhaps the proposal wasn't just about her, it was about giving his daughter the family she craved. Her heart softened, realizing this wasn't only about him or her. It was about a little girl's dream of love. Word of the CEO's public proposal spread like wildfire. Photos from that night leaked online, shared by her so-called friends. Headlines screamed, "Powerful CEO proposes to ordinary woman on blind date." Some praised the romance, but many mocked her. The internet branded her a gold digger, hungry for wealth and status. She wanted to crawl into a hole, overwhelmed by the sudden storm. Yet amidst the chaos, he released a statement. "I stand by her." His unwavering stance shocked critics, leaving her torn between fear and gratitude. For the first time, someone had chosen to fight for her. Everywhere she went, whispers followed. Strangers pointed, mocking her clothes, her background, her worth. Online comments were even harsher, painting her as unworthy of a man like him. She felt the cruel weight of judgment crushing her spirit. But beside her, the CEO walked tall, hand in hand, daring the world to sneer. At a press event, when asked why he chose her, he simply said, "Because she's the one." His bold words silenced the crowd for a moment, and she realized he wasn't ashamed of her. He was proud. Slowly, her heart began to believe him. The board of directors wasn't as forgiving. They confronted him, claiming his proposal threatened the company's image. "She's after your fortune," one sneered. He slammed the table, declaring, "My personal life is not up for negotiation." But whispers of betrayal grew. Someone from inside was leaking confidential matters, hoping to paint her as a manipulator. She watched him struggle, torn between love and duty. For the first time, she wondered if being with him was destroying everything he built. Could love survive the ruthless world of business and betrayal? One evening, as the storm raged louder, she broke down. With trembling lips, she shared the truth. How her past was filled with rejection, mockery, and broken trust. She had never been enough for anyone, not even herself. That's why his proposal terrified her. It felt too good to be true. He listened silently, then gently said, "Your past doesn't define your worth." His words reached deep, healing wounds she thought would never close. For the first time, she saw him not just as a powerful man, but as someone capable of mending her shattered faith in love. Days turned into weeks, and she found herself drawn into his world. Family dinners, quiet strolls, and laughter with his daughter slowly wove invisible threads between them. He wasn't just a CEO, he was a father, a man with vulnerabilities, and someone who cherished her presence. She in turn began to feel like she belonged, not as a guest in his world, but as part of it. Every shared glance carried unspoken feelings. The cruel setup that had once humiliated her was blossoming into something real, something she never dared to imagine, the possibility of true love. His daughter became the light of her days. The child adored her, running into her arms each time they met. They baked cookies together, read bedtime stories, and whispered secrets like mother and daughter. The CEO watched from a distance, his heart swelling at the sight. His little girl was finally smiling, free from loneliness. One evening, the child said softly, "You make us a family." Tears welled up in her eyes, realizing she was no longer just a guest in their lives, she was becoming irreplaceable. And with every smile, her heart bound tighter to theirs. But happiness rarely comes without enemies. His ex-fiancée returned, bitter and vengeful. "She'll ruin you," she hissed, vowing to destroy their bond. Business rivals fueled the fire, painting her as a scandal waiting to happen. Even her own so-called friends resurfaced, trying to drag her reputation through the mud. Everywhere she turned, shadows loomed. But this time, she wasn't alone. The CEO stood tall, protecting her fiercely. Yet deep down, she feared the storm brewing. Around them might tear everything apart before they could truly build a future together. One night, she received a call from a stranger, claiming to have proof that would clear her name. Desperate, she agreed to meet. But it was a trap. Paparazzi caught photos of her with a man staged to look like a secret lover. By morning, headlines screamed betrayal. The internet exploded, calling her unfaithful. She broke down, certain he would believe the lies. But instead of anger, he looked her in the eye and asked only, "Do you trust me?" At that moment, she realized this wasn't just her battle anymore. It was theirs together. Instead of abandoning her, the CEO stunned the world. At a press conference, he declared, "She is the woman I love, and I will not let anyone tarnish her name." His voice thundered with conviction, silencing critics. Business leaders gasped at his defiance, but he didn't care. He was willing to risk everything, his wealth, his company, his reputation for her. For the first time, she saw what true love looked like. Not empty promises, but a man standing tall in the face of the world, declaring her his choice. And she finally believed it. Determined to clear her name, she gathered evidence against those who framed her. With courage, she confronted the very people who once mocked her. One by one, their lies unraveled. Her strength shocked everyone. She wasn't just the CEO's chosen woman. She was someone capable of fighting her own battles. The world began to see her differently, not as a victim, but as a woman of resilience. For the first time, she broke free from the chains of humiliation that had haunted her for years. She was no longer defined by their laughter, but by her strength. When the storm finally settled, the CEO prepared something special. Under twinkling lights, with his daughter holding a bouquet, he knelt before her, not in haste, not in defiance, but in love. "This time," he whispered, "it's not to silence anyone. It's because my heart belongs to you." Tears blurred her vision as he slipped a ring onto her finger. The little girl cheered, hugging them both tightly. For once, the world didn't matter. This proposal wasn't about shock, it was about forever. The wedding day arrived, simple yet magical. She walked down the aisle, no longer the girl mocked for being unworthy, but a woman who had found love, family, and respect. Her friends who once laughed at her watched in silence, realizing the joke had become her miracle. The CEO kissed her gently, sealing their vows. His daughter beamed, holding both their hands, their family finally complete. The blind date that began as cruelty had led her to a life she never dreamed possible. Against all odds, their love story became a forever happily ever after.